welcome to Egg Feathers Homestead. I'm Silver. This is
Chris.
Come along with us on Every Bit Counts Challenge Week 3 as we preserve all kinds of good foods. Oh, there's Magnus too.
I'm Magnus.
If you enjoy homemade food, country living, and preserving the harvest, please like and subscribe and share and help our community grow so that we can help each other be the very best that we can be every day.
Mom.
Well, good evening, friends. It is Monday. I'm talking to Abigail. She's over there making funny noises. It's awesome. I had told you that I have never made vinegar pickles before. Well, tonight I'm going to, because apparently I am fixing my ears because, oh my gosh, I am in the pickle apocalypse right now. Like, there's so many cucumbers, it's kind of scary. So I have cut some of uniform size in half, and then the smaller ones I've left whole. I've cut off the blossom end. I have, I don't know, it says 14 heads, like, yeah, 14 heads of dill. What does it even mean? I don't even know. So I cut up a bunch of dill, like, I have no freaking clue. It's late at night, whatever, I don't care. It'll taste like dill. And they called for 14 heads of garlic cut in half. Well, these are small heads of garlic, so whatever. I just got a bunch. See, yummy. I love garlic. And then peppercorns, and I'm making my brine. I decided to use apple cider vinegar. As long as it's 5%, it's fine. It's 5%, so we're good to go. And then I am heating up pint jars because honestly, if it's gross, I don't want to be stuck with a lot of pickles. So there we go. I am going to bring my jars over, put all the stuff in, and we're going to get going on this. And this comes out of the surprise Amish Candy Cookbook again. It is on page 98, kosher dill pickles. We have 4 pounds cucumbers, 14 cloves garlic, 1/4 cup pickling or canning salt. I used Redmond real salt, 2 3/4 cup vinegar, 3 cups water, 14 heads of dill, and 28 peppercorns. I am going to get all these jars filled up, and then we will process them in the water bath for 10 minutes at my altitude, which is 0 to 1,000 feet, because I live in Flatsville, Iowa. All right, and we'll go from there. So I'll bring you back when I start filling these jars. Okay, so directions say to add cucumbers, 2 heads of dill, and 4 peppercorns. After you put 4 halved garlic cloves. So we're gonna go 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna shove these cucumbers in here. And Abigail is making me laugh because she's an evil child. All right, so we were just discussing why our toddler's so evil, because my little toddlers keep taking my jar grabber. I don't know why they do these things. And she explained to me that that's just the way it is. She's got a bit of experience, considering that she's 2 of 8, and she's been around the block a time or two. So, you know, I'm just not sure exactly how he's supposed to fit in here, but we're improvising. Now, I don't know. How do you count peppercorns? Whatever. We're gonna put some peppercorns in there. And we're going to shove some dill in there. That looks good. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I think that's enough headspace. That's enough headspace. We'll be all right. And then we're supposed to put 1/2 inch of headspace. So yeah, I think that's beautiful actually. We're going to put the hot brine right over the top. Alright, says 1/2 inch headspace. We shall do the debubbling to make sure that we're good to go. Make sure we still have our 1/2 inch. Ooh, ouchie, it's a little bit on the spicy side. Okay. And then we shall wipe our rim, trying to avoid these dills that are just sticking up. I feel like it would be a better idea to put them in the bottom instead of the top like they say to do. We shall see. All right, biggest thing is we want to make sure that we don't impede our seal any. So I'm going to be extra persnickety here. I'm actually kind of excited to try these. It's so simple. I don't see how you could go wrong. And it doesn't have like a boatload of salt, which is good because I'm not a big fan of the super salty. I used to be, but now it just doesn't do the same for me as it used to. All right. Looks gorgeous, darling, gorgeous. Look at that. That's amazing. All right, I'm gonna fill all these up, get them in the canner, and I will show you the end result when we're all done. They are going to boil in the boiling water canner for 10 minutes. Right? Is that right? Yep, that's right, 10 minutes. There you have it, 7 jars of dill pickles, kosher dill pickles. And 7 pint jars, and on some of them I couldn't help myself. You can see that little red speck right there. I had to add some hot peppers because in this house we're just pepper fiends. So really curious to see how these turn out. And you can see I ended up putting the dill and garlic and peppercorns in the bottom of the jars because it just made a whole lot more sense. So I very much look forward to tasting these. They might not last a week or two. We'll see. We will see you tomorrow for another day of preservation. Take care, guys. And we have another brief moment of cute cat vision. This is Mama Cat. To those cute kittens you saw. Her full name is Bellatrix the cat, but her short name is Trixie. She is the best little mommy ever. Last year she came to us from the cornfield sick and just at death's door, and we brought her back. I really didn't think I could save this one, but she has turned out to be the sweetest cat in the whole world. She has what I call the resting cat face. She normally has I hate you human face. That's why we named her Bellatrix, but she is far from evil. She is a very, very sweet little girl, and she Trixie baby. All right, there's your cute cat minute for the day. She's like, leave me alone, human. Bye-bye, Trixie. This year I grew celery for the first time. It actually ended up just being 4 little plants. And I was warned that they're pretty strong tasting. They're not really big fat sticks of celery, but their smell is amazing. So what I decided to do is go ahead and freeze the stalks and then dehydrate the greens. I can use the greens for lots of things, flavoring soups or maybe greens powder. I don't know, whatever I want that kind of flavor in. So I ended up getting 4 cups of 4 cups of frozen chopped celery, and then about half of a gallon Ziploc of the dried greens. And it took a long time to get these washed up really well. There was a lot of soil inside, so that's why you see me going back and forth, just rinsing off all the organic matter that we do not care to ingest. Lots of picking out little brown leaves and stuff. I was actually pretty darn proud of myself for growing celery. I know it probably seems silly, but it's kind of exciting. You know, celery is something that I'm just used to going to the grocery store and buying. So, hey, that's really neat. And so now you just see me laying them out on those dehydrator trays. I love my Excalibur. I bought it, I guess it was a couple years ago. When I was a teenager, I bought an old one from our neighbor and fell in love with it then. That was a 1970s model, and the thing was just a workhorse. So I've been impressed with, Excaliburs for a long time. Someday I'm hoping to get a freeze dryer. We shall see. That's definitely a far off investment. Those are certainly not cheap. So unless somebody decides they're going to sponsor little old me, I think I'll just have to stick with my little Excalibur dehydrator, which does a fantastic job. I do get excited when I see different channels that have freeze dryers do things like powdered milk or powdered eggs. Or Jessica at 3 Rivers, she quite often freeze dries her oatmeal, and that just looks delicious. It looks like you want to snap a piece off and just eat it right then and there. So things like that I could definitely see enjoying a freeze dryer. But this will do for now. I needed to make some room in the freezer because, well, they're just full. So I got some chickens out from a year or 2 ago. I don't remember. because I forgot to date them. And we're just getting them in the roaster. We're going to season them up with some garlic, onion, salt, bay, and tarragon, and they just take a long ride in the roaster. I think it was about 5 hours or so at about 275 to 300 degrees. They came out nice and tender, and it really worked out well. And then I just picked all the meat off the bones, put it in a Ziploc, and it works great for meals. It's always really nice to have some cooked meat on hand, whether it's in the freezer or the fridge or a jar. Just, it makes mealtime easier, especially when I forget to meal plan. Quite often it saves the day just having something ready to go. This was a good way to handle things, and I definitely think I'll be doing that again. Honestly, couldn't tell you exactly how many old chickens are in the freezer, but we're finally making a pretty good dent in them, so I think that we're almost there. I'm very, very grateful and appreciative for the food that we have. It means a lot to be able to take care of my family and keep their tummies full. Mr. Ben is in the kitchen with me. This was in the morning. We're getting ready to bake. Now it's time to make broth. I'm just putting cold water into the roaster with all the bones and skin and meat and some peppercorns and salt and the little bit of celery scraps that I had from preserving those the other day. And just gonna get this and let it roast for a long time. I decided to strain this through a double layer of my tea towel just because I wanted it to look nice in the jar. And it certainly did. I'll give it that. But I tell you what, it was messy and it was tedious, and that towel kept getting gummed up with solids from the broth. And in the end, I just decided that next time I do this, I will live with a little bit of debris in my broth because it was kind of frustrating. It took a long time just to fill some jars. But in the end, it all turned out well. It tasted really good. And I had Christopher in the background saying, "Can I have a cup? Can I have a cup?" He absolutely loves bone broth. One of my favorite ways to have it is I like to grate a fresh clove of garlic into it, add some black pepper, maybe a little bit of ginger, and just sip it. For some reason, it's particularly delightful on a cold night. So we'll see what we do with this. It'll be used for something, that's for sure, whether it be soup, pot pie, or just having a nice glass. And here I'm just cleaning up the jar, taking extra care because there is some fat in that broth, so it's important. I always use vinegar to wipe my rims. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, so I just have to be extra when I'm doing this, just to make sure it's nice and clean because I want a good seal. Interestingly enough, I had my first seal failure. I was kind of bummed. It was a jar of my rose petal jelly that I made this summer from wild roses I foraged. That was kind of a bummer. So I'm extra careful when I... Well, my project for today is I bought these beautiful cherry tomatoes from Stephanie. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking off the stems and I'm going to wash these up. And then what I'm going to do is just take a toothpick and prick each one of them just in the top, just a little prick. And then I am going to add some basil and probably a little bit of garlic, and I'm going to lacto ferment these. They make the most delicious treat when you ferment them. They get all bubbly and like it's just like when you bite into them, it's just a little explosion in your mouth. It's like savory and sweet and just, I don't know how to describe it other than delectable. You can grind it up and use it over pasta. You can just pop them in your mouth as a snack. They're just really, really good. And I look forward to this time of year because I really enjoy making little tomato popper bomb things. I don't know. People call them different. Can you say the B word on YouTube? I don't know. Anyway, they kind of explode in your mouth, and that's why some people call them that. So I'm just busy here taking the stems off, making sure that there's no spoilage. Like this one, I don't know if it's spoiled or if it's just I think it's just the kind of tomato. It's super cool. See, look at this variety. Aren't they beautiful? There you go. So I'm going to keep working on that, and when I get them in the jar, I will bring you back. I have a wide mouth jar here, and I'm just starting to drop in those tomatoes after I gave them a really good rinse and picking over. And I just found that poking a little hole kind of helps the brine soak into the tomatoes better. And I'm washing some fresh basil because that gives a delicious flavor. It's really, really yummy. And then I threw in some garlic and a bunch of salt. I'm adding the juice from last year's fermented tomatoes. I can't believe that they've still held up so well. And I'm just adding water. I'm pretty sure I added about a tablespoon of salt. That's pretty standard for most ferments in a quart-sized jar. And then I just rinsed off my weight and my pickle pipe. Shake it all up, and then it will sit for about a week. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Ooh, just eating an old one. Boy, is that nice. Hi, friends. It is currently Friday night, and I am working on making salsa today because I bought 25 pounds of beautiful tomatoes from Stephanie, my friend at Sunshine Farms up in Hubbard. I have already cut up 6 cups of tomatoes. I peeled them and cored them and diced them. I did not show that part because my friend's son is over helping me, and I did not get permission to have him on camera. So until I get that permission, I'm definitely not going to do that until Mama says it's okay. So we got the tomatoes diced up, and I've got 4 cups of onions. So 6 cups tomatoes, 4 cups of onions. So far I have 4 cups of mixed peppers. I'm going to add 1 more cup of mixed peppers. This is called choice salsa. It's from the U.S. Centers for Home Food Preservation, and the recipe does call for those 6 cups of cored, diced, and peeled tomatoes and de-seeded. Like I squeezed out the seeds because these are not like paste tomatoes. And then you can use 9 cups of any combination of onions and peppers. This time I decided to go for 4 cups of onions, 5 cups of peppers because we like a really peppery salsa. I did this last year. And then I will add 1.5 cups of bottled lemon or lime juice and a tablespoon of salt. So that's what I'm up to right now. Next time I might add cilantro, but this time I'm just using the peppers, onions, and tomatoes to get a very pure flavor. So I'm going to keep chopping these up. Let me see if you can see me chop here. Let's see. Of course, I have a towel under my cutting board. I have my junk bin in this. And now I'm just chopping up those peppers in what Astrid calls super speed. I like being able to speed up videos sometimes. This is jalapeno. It smelled so good. There were some major fumes, so I tell you what, but if I could work at this speed, I could take over the world. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. But anyway, just working on these, getting them done, because I'm pretty much always in a hurry, ready to get on to my next task. Just choppy. They smelled so good, it was hard not to snack on them. And I love having the junk bin next to me in the sink. It just makes things so easy. Throw all those scraps in there, and they either go to chickens, pig, or compost. Like I've said in other videos, nothing gets wasted. There's always something that will eat what we have. Aren't these just the prettiest peppers? Unfortunately, I did not grow many this year. We did plant some Tabascos and some scorpion and ghost peppers. The scorpion and ghost peppers don't seem to be doing really well. However, the Tabascos are all of a sudden coming on really strong, so that's super exciting. And I had a bunch of bell peppers planted, but my little buckling goat, Mr. Tyrone, kind of sort of ate all my pepper plants. All right, I'm back. I thought it'd be kind of novel to use my little burner thingy, because why not? So now I'm just going to bring this mixture up to a boil. I added 1.5 cups of bottled lime juice and 3 teaspoons or a tablespoon. I don't know why they do that. Like 3 tablespoons is always a tablespoon of salt. You know how some recipes will be like 3 teaspoons. It's a tablespoon, people. Come on. Anyway, just my personal silly thing. So directions say to cook this for 3 minutes once it comes up to boil, and then we are going to put it into hot pint jars, which are on my stove already, all ready to go. And yes, this smells, it smells so good already. I can hardly wait. It makes me want to make some pico de gallo tomorrow, I think, just to have some. That's like the fresh salsa. It's not cooked, so I think I'm going to do that. I also have 10 dozen ears of corn that I have to process tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to let this come up to a boil, and I'm going to take care of said corn tonight while this is doing its thing. So, we'll see ya after it has boiled, and we're putting it in jars. Here they are, 6 jars of delicious, just salsa goodness for our larder. This is only the beginning. This is the first tomato product of the year. So to say I'm excited would be a little bit of an understatement. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow, which is Saturday, for another day of Every Bit Counts. Take care. Here are 10 dozen ears of beautiful corn that I got at Farmer's Market. We live in Iowa. We have to have corn. It's one of the best times of year. Like, it's one of the things that we all look forward to. These are going to get frozen and canned. These ears of corn took a ride in boiling water for 9 minutes, and now I'm just putting them into cold water to stop the cooking. You don't want them to be any more cooked than that, or you're going to end up with mush. I remember when we lived in Guantanamo Bay, there was a restaurant called the Jerk House, and you would always get served corn with your jerk chicken or jerk pork, whatever you might get. And it was really, really mushy, but it tasted so good at the same time. It's just kind of a funny memory from our time there. That was a lot of fun. That was a long, long time ago. But for some reason, the corn always stuck with me because I figured it must have come from stateside in a freezer bag. And I think they might have blanched it a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure, but it was really neat anyway. And they made these Johnny cakes that were just delicious. I miss that food. Jamaican food is some of our favorite. Michael's in the background saying, oh yeah. And then these went on to baking sheets and froze, and I bagged them up. It is Sunday night, and I am doing my last project. Miss Abigail's in the background doing dishes. It's okay, you can keep doing dishes. My last project was going to be canning corn, but quite frankly, I'm way too tired. I just put 14 jars of green beans in the canner. So I am finishing up by just snapping the rest of the green beans that I have, some green and some wax. And I am simply going to blanch and freeze them. I am not fancy about my shapes for green beans. I just snap them. They all taste the same. So it's not like I'm entering into a state fair or anything. So here are our frozen green beans. I love having these on hand because I like to use them for freezer meals. They're really good in a curry, believe it or not. And I don't know if that's going to mess things up. My low battery warning came on. I guess we'll see. But anyway, Aiden is munching on the cereal in the background. I was going to have him say goodbye to you for this week's challenge. Thank you for watching. We love sharing with you. This has been a crazy few weeks. We're really grateful for how many people have been participating and viewing and just coming along with us on this journey. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you all very much, and have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time.